Hey guys, this video is going to be a little bit of a response to Lawsome and a little bit of a response to Anastasia. And this is my own theory that I kind of put together. Um, One thing you might want to watch my video or read the book Superorganism. Wait, no. My video is called Superorganism. The book is called The Lucifer Principle in order to, I guess, understand where I'm coming from with this theory. Plus, having some background in like evolutionary psychology, sexuality, that can't hurt to understand where I'm coming from. Sorry. So you basically have um, hot countries and cold countries, and I'll kind of describe this notion that I have is that heat, hot areas, summer, sweltering heat causes violence, and this there's a correlation between heat and violence, not a causation. It's not as if Russia or the Middle East, medieval countries like never went to war, and it's not like the United States never went to war, even though it's borderline. Some of it's hot, some of it's cold, but you do have like that joke about people that the month where there's the most murders is the month where there's the most ice cream sold, and it's a correlation. The underlying factor behind it is that both of them are the hottest month of the year. So you have violence that goes on in the Middle East for centuries. You've got North Europe, relatively peaceful compared to some other situations, compared to Africa, compared to South America, compared and Vikings are an exception. The Vikings go out, but to the degree that it goes on too is something to understand also. Like if you have two northern countries, they go to war and then it ends, whereas tribes will like go to war and then go to war again, and then like the amount of war they do on any given, it's a lot more frequent. So like there's also this matter of violence stunts civilization growth, because if you're always worried about your protecting your home, your stuff from invaders, then you have like very little time to produce or come up with new things. So you have countries. I'm just gonna refer to it as Africa and South America because I'm just going on generalizations. I'll straight out admit I'm going in generalizations to this theory. Like I said, it's not perfect, but I think it does explain a lot. So, I mean, you have your social structure in these countries. I kind of wrote a diagram. I don't know if this is a good explanation for it, but you've got in your hot countries, you have your tribes, and your tribes will go to war, and they'll be like medium sized or whatever. And then you'll have your cold countries, and you have what's bigger than the tribe is the nation state, but all those little dots, all those little circles in there are families. So you have a lot more changing of what a family does, what the sexual roles are. You have a more monogamous type situation in a family where there's one little group of people, and granted, it's more like a lineage than anything for protecting property. That you have something like your first born son would be the one that owns the property, and the second born would be the priest, and then the third would go into the military. And for the most part back then daughters don't really mean that much, so just describing the lineage rights. So you have I mean, typically only males go to war. And you ask, why is this? There's a whole bunch of, sperm wars type stuff that, if you understand that, there's the matter of, it takes pregnancy is like a 9-month process where a guy can keep having sex. So, it's often referred to as men being the disposable gender. And, this makes me think about, like, if this is males that go to war and you don't want to show emotion to the enemy, you want to give them your war face. You want to, like, look straight ahead and not cry and not show any emotion, because doing that would be something that would be like the enemy would find a weakness in you, whereas women have typically more emotional expression as a biological offshoot, because they have the ability to, that they're not typically going to war. You also have the men that do go to war in these countries. I mean, you have, it's no surprise, you have the military in the U.S. goes to high schools to recruit people. Why? Because that's the part of your life where you have the most hormone level and you're the most aggressive, as you're going to be throughout your life. So they want people that are genuinely aggressive, or at least from a biology standpoint. You've got also the winner goes the spoils. So you've got, like, this goes both ways. This goes, like, when you have one tribe of people and another tribe of people, and even, beyond tribes, countries do this too. The soldiers go from, like, one, they attack all the men, and it's, like, typically 2 men only armies, and then they would go and rape the woman. Why? Because then they're part of that superorganism, or that collective country, and that new invaded territory is now a principality. So you want these people to blend with your genes, so then they become it's more natural to reproducing the people that would fit in your country. That it's a matter of assimilation. That's the word. So the winner goes the spoils, and this also means that, like, if a country is victorious, you've also got your male soldiers, the ones that come back alive, and that's what it ultimately comes back to. The ones that freaking come back alive, those, that's like a sexy thing, because you're looking for a culture that has war, and the war reproduces itself, and they're always going to war. So being a warrior is a sexy quality, and maybe this is why a woman wants a strong man. I don't know, that lame trite saying I hear, but now if you're in one of these hot countries, though, right, and they're going to war a lot more than these cold countries, these hot countries go to war more frequently. They lose, their male population dwindles, it plummets, it goes down to a lot less than these cold countries, and that's how you get these families. You got one man, one woman, and then religion just kind of, like, reinforces that, I think. Whereas Christianity, if you're gonna say, or Muslim belief, but if you're gonna have a country where the women outnumber the men alive 2-1 because the men are all dying off, having multiple wives is something that's often happened. And now this doesn't mean polyamory. This doesn't mean more than one love. And it's often conflated, the idea of marriage and love, or the use for sex and love. But this is, like, where this idea basically comes from. Is a lot of American philosophy is just Western philosophy, it's a lot of just imports from, like, you know, Scandinavia, the Enlightenment, Britain, and Greece, Aristotelianism, and Platonism, and you just have a lot of imports that come into America that are mostly from those colder countries. So that's why we have a lot of this, like, one man, one woman as a marriage, and threesomes, I think, are scorned upon. Or not even threesomes, just like polyamory, or having more than one partner is like a bad thing. So kind of explaining the evolution behind it. Thanks for watching, guys. Leave a comment if you want to. Take care.